which his hell-governed arm hath butchered.
Maybe you don't know charity, which renders good for bad.
You knocked?
Can I talk to you in private?
Well, it's a bad time. How about at breakfast?
Is that a girl in there?
I certainly hope so.
Not in my house. I will not put up with this sort of thing.
What sort of thing? You have a girl in your bedroom and I don't object. Rhonda, this is Paula McFadden. Mac lives just down the bedroom a piece. Mac, this is Rhonda Fontana, a gifted and rising young actress. Don't rise.
Hi. Hello. Can we talk? This is serious.
Take a break.
Out.
Out?
Her out. They have motels for that sort of activity. I have an impressionable 10-year-old daughter in there, and this is not one of the impressions I want her picking up. Now you get that rising young actress the hell out of there.
Out of where? Out of my rented apartment that you are staying in out of the goodness of my heart? I will bring home anyone or anything I choose, including a one-eyed Episcopalian kangaroo, if that happens to be my kinky inclination. As for what is going on in there, we're rehearsing Act 1, Scene 4 of Richard III. I happen to have a cretin from Mars directing this play, and I need all the help I can get. But however, if I choose to attempt to have carnal knowledge of that gorgeous bod, that'll be her option, my problem, and none of your business. And just for the record, what do you think was little Lucy's impression of what was going on in Mama's bedroom with Tony loving and leaving DeForest, huh? Hey, Mac, why don't you turn out some of these lights? We're running up a heck of a bill.
You okay? I actually fell for him. That there.
Martha's a romantic at heart.
That I am. I actually fell for him. And the match seemed practical, too. For a while, Daddy really thought that George had the stuff to take over when he was ready to retire. And we both thought that naturally...
Stop it, Martha.
Oh, what do you want?
I wouldn't go on with this if I were you.
Oh, you wouldn't, would you? Will you not?
You've already sprung a leak about you know what.
What? What?
About the sprout, the little bugger, our son. If you start in on this other business, Martha, I warn you.
I stand warned.
Do we really have to go through all this?
So anyway, I married the SOB. I had it all planned out. First, he'd take over the history department. Then when Daddy retired, he'd take over the whole college, you know? That was the way it was supposed to be. Getting angry, baby, huh? That was the way it was supposed to be. All very simple. And Daddy thought it was a good idea, too, for a while. Until he started watching for a couple of years. Getting angry? Until he watched for a couple of years and started thinking that maybe it wasn't such a good idea after all, that maybe Georgie boy didn't have the stuff, that maybe he didn't have it in him.
Stop it, Martha.
Like hell I will. You see, George didn't have much push. He wasn't particularly aggressive. In fact, he was sort of a flop. A great, big, fat flop.
Stop it, Martha.
I hope that was an empty bottle, George. You can't afford to waste good liquor. Not on your salary, not on an associate professor's salary.
This is a great white, Larry. A big one. And any shark expert in the world will tell you it's a killer. It's a man-eater.
Look, the situation is that apparently a great white shark has staked a claim in the waters off Amity Island. And he is going to continue to feed here as long as there is food in the water.
And there's no limit to what he's going to do. I mean, we've already had 3 incidents. 2 people killed inside of a week, and it's going to happen again. It happened before. The Jersey Beach.
1916, there were 5
people chewed up in the surf.
In 1 week.
Tell them about the swimmers.
A shark is attracted to the exact kind of splashing and activity that occurs whenever human beings go in swimming. You cannot avoid it.
If you open the beaches on the 4th of July, it's like ringing the dinner bell, for Christ's
Look,
sake.
Mr. Vaughn, I pulled a tooth the size of a shot glass out of the wrecked hull of a boat out there, and it was the tooth of a great white.
It was Ben Gardner's boat. It was all chewed up. I helped tow it in. You should have seen him.
Where is that tooth? Did you see it, Broden?
No, I didn't see it. He dropped it. The other
I had an
on
accident.
the way in.
And what did you say the name of this shark is?
It's a Carcharodon carcharias. It's a great white.
But you don't have the tooth. Look, we depend on the summer people here for our very lives.
You are not going to have a summer
If you close those
unless you
beaches,
deal
we're
with this
finished.
problem.
We're not only going to have to close the beach, we're going to have to hire somebody to kill the shark. I mean, we're going to have to tell the Coast Guard.
Mr. Vaughn,
We're going
you have to
get
contact the
repellent.
shark
We're going to have to put
research
extra
panel.
deputies on because
You
every
have to
net in
ring
the
this
world is going to
entire
come in here.
harbor.
We gotta
I don't
spend
think
money
either
in
one of you
get.
are familiar with our problems.
I think that I am familiar with the fact that you are going to ignore this particular problem until it swims up and bites you on the ass. Now, wait a second.
Chief.
There are two ways to deal with this problem. You're
Chief.
either going to kill this animal or you're going to cut off its food supply.
Larry, we have to close the beaches.
Brody, sick vandalism. That is a deliberate mutilation of a public service message. Now, I want those little paint-happy bastards caught and hung up by their Buster Browns.
That's it. Goodbye. I'm not going to waste my time arguing with a man who's lining up to be a hot lunch. I'm going to see you later, bro.
Son, please don't do this.
He's not. Mr. Vaughn, what we are dealing with here is a perfect engine, an eating machine. It's really a miracle of evolution. All this machine does is swim and eat and make little sharks, and that's all. Now, why don't you take a long, close look at this sign? Those proportions are correct.
Love to prove that, wouldn't you? Get your name into the National Geographic.
Larry, if we make an effort today, we might be able to save August.
August?
Oh, boy.
What happened?
I've seen some pretty good snafus, but this one, there was a certain splendor to this one. One of the night nurses up at Diem thought Schaefer was a patient and plugged an IV into him. He was a diabetic, you know.
What do you mean she plugged an IV into him?
It's a really screwed up story, Doctor. You see, what happened was we had an old man in that bed who died last night, so the bed was available. You know Schaefer, he's Sammy Stud.
So he talked a nurse into zapping him on the bed.
One of the girls from hematology he's been running around with.
God, it's a Roman farce.
I thought I heard you out here, Doctor.
I suggest you do that right now.
Dr. Barker, I'm so terribly sorry.
Now, as I understand it, one of the nurses inadvertently administered an IV to Schaefer here. How the hell could that happen?
Listen, I think we ought to straighten this out somewhere else.
Yes, very good idea.
Oh, God, what a mess. Well, these things happen, of course.
I suppose I'd better call the medical examiner.
I still don't understand what happened.
Well, it took us about an hour to get it sorted out. It seems a patient named Guernsey died last night in 806, but that information wasn't given to the night nurses. These things happen. At any rate, according to the Cardex, the patient Guernsey was down for 25 milligrams of Spayrine at Q6H, and Mrs. Reardon sent Nurse Perez to give him his 12 o'clock shot. In the meantime, it seems Dr. Schaefer usurped that particular bed for his own purposes. Dr. Brubaker suggests it was for a love tryst, and some weight is given that hypothesis by the fact that Dr. Schaefer was naked.
I get the drift, Mrs. Christie. In other words, Nurse Perez went in and sedated Dr. Schaefer thinking he was the patient Guernsey. My God, what I don't understand.
May I finish, please, Doctor? After Perez gave him his shot, she noticed the IV was pinched off on the bed. So she reported this back to Mrs. Reardon, who then assigned Nurse Rivers to restart the IV. Now, Rivers was afloat. She didn't even know the staff people on the floor. Nobody knew what the patient Guernsey looked like anyway, since he'd only been admitted that morning.
So she plugged an IV.
Yes,
How much?
a liter.
5% glucose solution don't kill anybody. Wasn't dehydrated, was he? Did he have any other ancillary conditions? Didn't anybody bother to go in and check on him during the night, even under the impression that he was merely a patient? Was he hyperosmolar? Did he have a bad heart? He must have had some sort of thrombosis. I want the post done here, Mr. Hitchcock. And you and I had better have a little chat, Mrs. Christie, about your excessive use of float nurses.
I've got nearly 1,000 nurses in this
And every
hospital.
time one of them has her period, she disappears for 3 days. My doctors complain regularly they can't find the same nurse on the same floor 2 days in a row. Now, what in hell am I going to tell this boy Schaefer's parents? That a substitute nurse assassinated him because she couldn't tell the doctors from the patients on the floor? My God! The incompetence here is absolutely radiant. I mean, two separate nurses walk into a room and stick needles in a man, and one of those is a number 18 gel coat, tourniquet the poor son of a bitch, anchor the poor son of a bitch's arm with adhesive tape, and it's the wrong poor son of a bitch. My God, I mean, where do you train your nurses, Mrs. Christie? Dachau? All right. Wrap him up and get him down to pathology, and I'm especially interested in his blood sugar. A liter of glucose never killed anybody. Your ladies must have done something else to him.
Will there be anything else, Doctor?
No.
Before you call the family doctor, you should speak to Mr. Mead about this. We'd like naturally to avoid litigation.